Wow. Do we have a jam-packed episode today? Originally, we were just going to start the day talking second half expectations for the Philadelphia Phillies and predictions while we watch the Open Championship first round. But then that Joel Embiid article dropped. So we're going to break that down. Do you feel different about Joel Embiid after reading that ESPN article? The ESPYs were last night. Football news. The World Series of Poker crowned a new champion. Got lots of things to cover today. Trending in the AM on the STT Sports Network. We are live, taking your thoughts and opinions on everything and watching the Open Championship in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. We are live. YouTube and Twitter, do me that favor. Hit that like button. Hit that share button. Of course, subscribe. We would greatly appreciate it. Up to 547 this morning. Let's try to get that number to go up today, and we do that by like, sharing, and subscribing. And also vote on our YouTube poll. If you're watching on Twitter, head over to the YouTube page because we got a great poll going today. Is a World Series appearance a must for Rob Thomson and Dave Dombrowski to keep their jobs? Options are yes, no, just for Dombrowski, just for Rob Thomson. Early voting already 6%. 60% is yes. It is a must to do it, guys. So make sure we vote, we like, we share, and tell everybody to turn the dial down on the radio and turn YouTube up because this is what we're doing here today, guys. We got lots happening. So what is on the agenda today? We are talking Phillies, of course. We're talking Phillies second half expectations and predictions. We are talking the Joel Embiid article, 1,000%. Lots of information to digest from that article. I don't even think after reading it twice I fully understand every little detail of that. Great journalistic writing right there by Dotun Akintoy, I think is how you say it. We got football news. We got second-round pick signing. We got Von Miller signings. The grinder, Michael Mizrachi, wins the World Series of Poker main event. And, of course, the Open Championship. Yes, Hoo-Tong Lee, okay? I think I said that right. Was in every one of my lineups last week, and he missed the cut. In none of my lineups this week, and tied for the early first-round lead here today. We're going to watch and overreact to every shot of the Open Championship today, along with all this other stuff. And the ESPYs were last night. Some really interesting awkward jokes that I found extremely funny. The fact that I found Shane Gillis funny and not cringe like other people, does that make me a bad person? Maybe, I don't know. And, of course, Katie Schumacher Cauley with the great speech last night, receiving the V Foundation Award last night for courage. Got to cover all that stuff. So we got lots on the agenda. Eagles finally get some respect from the ESPYs, voted top team and Barkley best play. Yes, Adam. That is accurate. The Eagles were the best team, and rightfully so, because that is what they were. And, of course, the Saquon Barkley reverse hurdle won play of the year. Got to love that as well. Finally, respect, but Hurts still being disrespected. Yeah, Jalen Hurts is still getting the disrespect. But, according to the Eagles video that dropped yesterday, he was asked, answering fan questions, and what are your core values, Jalen Hurts, a fan asked him. And he said, faith, family, and championships. And we're damn lucky to have Jalen Hurts as our quarterback. That's all I could say about that. Good morning, Stephen Fuentes. Shane Gillis is the best. You know who's not best? Stephen Fuentes trying to tell me to bet Zach Johnson, first-round leader. I don't see Zach Johnson's name anywhere up there. I didn't actually make that bet. I knew that wasn't going to hit Steve. I read the art. You read the article? Good. It's a very in-depth, deep articles. Tell me you had some. No, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name. Oh, shit. I didn't even see him get on the board. That wasn't there a few minutes ago, the last time I looked at the leaderboard. I thought you were making a name up. So it's Call Calcanjana. Calcanjana. Am I anywhere near close to that one? That's the great thing about the Open Championship, K1. There are some names. Calcanjana, Lee, Hultan Lee, J.S. Olesen, Højgaard. You get some good European names on the leaderboard at the Open Championship. The one thing I love about the Open Championship, we're going to get into all the other topics in a second, is European golf is totally different than PGA golf, American golf. It is pouring rain down there in Northern Ireland right now, and they're just playing through it. As long as there's no lightning, it's play on. And I love it. There's no lift and play in place. None of that. The Open is a minefield of, for somebody like me, absolutely. I think I'm doing a damn good job even trying. One other thing I forgot today on the agenda, I will reveal my newest top 10 list, the top 10 James Bond movies of all time. Forgot to mention that in the Open. We are doing top 10. I did create the top 10 list. I'm working on some other top 10 lists that we'll get into next week. But yeah. JoJo sees you, Phil, and it doesn't help that knee heel, unfortunately. Yeah. Look, that Joel Embiid article, it was something. It was a very long, in-depth article, very long, in-depth interview, going into the mind and body of Joel Embiid. And there's a couple things I take away from the Joel Embiid article, and I'm going to read it a third time today to try to digest it even more. Things that stand out the most is A, the guy is hurting. Joel Embiid is hurting, not just physically, but mentally. Another thing I take away is that the Sixers have mismanaged his rehab, but their relationship with him so badly. And I'm shocked that Joel Embiid hasn't asked to be traded out of the city. The way he feels he was treated by this organization, by Josh Harris, by all the GMs. Hell, Sam Hinkie put an intern in charge of his rehab. How he has decided to stay in this city is kind of crazy. Zach's only, I just saw +1 next to Zach Johnson's name. I thought I saw 13, not 3, but whatever. I don't even know what Phil is talking about. Well, it's a very, very, I know you like to talk football, TMZ. I know you don't like other things, but you really, truly, it's a long article. It'll take you a good 5 to 10 minutes to read it. You really, really should go to ESPN.com after the show and read the Joel Embiid article. First and foremost, Joel Embiid, or the article, and I don't know if I'm saying the writer's name right, Dotun, D-O-T-U-N, his last name Akintoye, A-K-I-N-T-O-Y-E, proves that journalism isn't dead, okay? There is actual real journalism going on out there, okay? Now, some will say it's a fluff piece. I disagree. Yes, Joel Embiid probably had a lot of influence on the questions and the answers of this article. But Joel Embiid was very raw in his answers, did not hold back at all. Very interesting. I really highly recommend anybody that's criticized him, anybody that supported him. K1 Kanjana is up for another birdie here, K1. Long birdie putt. Oh, so close to getting to the tie for the lead there for Calcanjana. We're going to go with Calcanjana here. Both Philly and Embiid need a fresh start. And without reading the article, you're spot on. And the fact that Joel Embiid has not asked for that fresh start. It's crazy. Yeah, Joel Embiid, Duck, is staying because there's nowhere else to go now. But he's been frustrated, according to this article, with the Sixers organization before he signed that last extension. And even before that, he's been frustrated with this organization for 5 to 10 years now. And he continues to stay. Now there's nowhere else for him to go. But 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, he could have pushed his way out the door. Oberg and Hovland haven't even teed off. Oh, I know. It's crazy. I love watching morning golf, by the way, K1. Love watching morning golf. Sounds like an AI byline to me. It sounds like it, but it's not. The theme is he finally found someone in the media to trust, but it also validates what we thought about Josh Harris. If this gets Harris to sell, good on Joe. I love that. And I put out a tweet. One of the tweets I put out after reading the article news was, we are blessed to have the greatest owner in sports in Jeffrey Lurie. We are also doomed because we have the worst owner in sports in Josh Harris. This is a major national call-out of Josh Harris, Daryl Morey, Brian Colangelo, the entire Sixers organization now and over the last how many years? The part of the article where he was getting fined because he was so frustrated. He had to reach out to people to say, I'm hurt more than you think. I can't just go out there and play. So he started not showing up to things. He said he was fined like $300,000 last year. He said he lost count of how much he was fined. But making statements by that, calling them out for this. It's very, very interesting. And yes, he found some of the trust, but if you really read the beginning of the article, you could tell by the way the writer, Dotan, was writing it, that it took a while into the interview process for Joel to even loosen up to him. Roy doesn't tee off till 10:10, going to be a pretty unproductive day. Oh, yeah, absolutely. 1,000%. Hovland's due, yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I don't have him bet. I don't bet him this week. I have him in some DFS lineups. Just didn't have room on my card for him. Can't count on Embiid. Anything he gives his team is a bonus, but it's Maxie McCain's team now. Embiid and George are just overpaid role players at this point. Look, this is not about this upcoming season when we're talking about Joel Embiid, Rick. This is not at all. This is discussing how the organization has really screwed Joel Embiid's life over with the way they've handled him. How Joel Embiid has been misunderstood to an extent. There were some funny parts of the interview as well. And if you haven't read this, Rick, I highly suggest you do it before you do your show tonight. It's very enlightening. And Joel Embiid, the player, is never going to be the same. Joel Embiid might not ever play again. I got a little bit of a thought when I read the article when he was talking about this year and how he's not going to push anything, that there's a chance Joel Embiid doesn't step on the court this year or ever again. John Rahm trying to putt from off the green for par. Not even close. Again, there was nowhere else for him to go even during the last extension because everyone knew he was injury prone. Right, I know. That was only a year ago. But before he signed his previous extension, I mean, he could have forced his way out of here in 2019, 2020, 2021. Yeah, he was injury prone, but he was still playing. He hadn't even won an MVP yet. He could have. He chose not to, and I don't know why. He must really love this damn city. The Embiid article is all just a bunch of excuses. Get healthy, stop being lazy. I don't take that at all. And I know there's people that are going to feel that it's just a fluff piece because he's making excuses. And I disagree. I disagree firmly with you on this, Steven. Show up to meetings on time and be the leader you're supposed to be. Look, yes, obviously the team meeting last year, the players-only meeting, and Tyrese Maxey called him out for that, about being lazy and stuff like that. But he's still pissed off that information got leaked to the media. And he says in the article that whoever that was is still on the team. I want to know still who leaked this information. Joel Embiid is hurting physically and mentally right now. And I feel bad for the guy. I really do. Joel Embiid is owed nothing. He didn't hold up his end of the deal. He's lazy. See, I think you guys are missing the point here. I really, truly do. I did not take late. I have felt this way about Joel Embiid. I feel 1,000% different about Joel Embiid after reading the article. I feel like he has tried. I feel like he has given everything he has. And the team gave him nothing back. No help, no support. I feel the complete opposite way that you two do. If you have ADHD, there's no way to holy hell you're making it through the article. Not a snowball's chance. It's a tough read. That's why I read it twice, because I felt like it was so much and so complex that I know I missed things and probably paged over certain aspects of it. So I read it twice, and I still feel like I probably missed some things. It will take a lot more than AI-generated grinder to make me feel sorry for Embiid. Okay, all right. Embiid is playing the victim role. I ain't buying it. I saw my man John Kincaid, my competitor, on the dial. Again, remember, turn the dial down, turn YouTube up in the morning, guys. I know you guys do, but everyone else needs to do that as well. I know there are people that feel that way. And there's a feeling out there that Embiid chose Dotan to write this article because he got Dotan to agree to make the article with the ideas that he wanted out there. I get that. I understand why you feel that way. But let me tell you something. It worked because I am feeling like we should give him the benefit of the doubt of what he's done for this city. Dude makes more money sitting out a game than most people make in a year. I get it. I get it. Italian subs have a weird salami that starts with C. Embiid was okay to play in the Olympics, though, right? Was he even all right for it? I don't know. It was obviously the wrong decision. Embiid makes 1,000 times more than me in the afternoon nap. Yeah, true. I heard the leaker was Eric Gordon. Interesting relaunch. And good morning. Thanks for tuning in. Guys, if you haven't, hit that like and subscribe button and vote on our poll. For some reason, I wanted it to be Paul George because I want Paul George gone, not that he's going anywhere. If it was Eric Gordon, then why would you bring Eric Gordon back? Like I don't get the whole Eric Gordon situation, period. But if he was the leaker, why would you have him back in here? Because now Joel Embiid don't like the guy, don't trust the guy. Doing handstands in practice when he is on the bench isn't hurting mentally. It's his way, realizing he has no other option but to be here and is trying to get back on the city's good graces. I don't see it that way. I don't. Get out the crying towels for JoJo. Absolutely. That's what I have. Embiid is still getting paid, is he not? Yeah, he is. Yeah. He has played less than 25% of the games, has he not? Yes. And is still getting 100% of his paycheck. None of those checks have bounced, have they? I'm surprised at how many people are taking the ownership and the management side of the equation in this. The guy had to beg and plead last year to prove that he was really hurt and couldn't just manage the pain. The guy's not going to be able to walk in 5 to 10 years. You see the Nicholas Batum part of it, saying he's looked at those knees and can't understand how the guy plays basketball or let alone walks anymore. I'm a very empathetic person. I feel for people very much, but I know a faker when I smell it. This guy is faking it, but I'm sure the $800 million he swindled from the city will make him feel this way. This city will make him feel. Look, I disagree. I mean, is Joel Embiid completely clear of criticism after this article? No, absolutely not. Joel Embiid has handled things wrong in his career in Philadelphia, for sure. But to say he's lazy and he doesn't want to play, doesn't want to try to get healthy, the guy wants to be known as the best player in basketball. The guy wants that validation. He has tried, but he hasn't gotten the support from the organization to get healthy so he can be the dominant player he is. Embiid is playing a LeBron and pulling a LeBron and playing a victim. This is just what the NBA is now. Man, I'm shocked there's not one person that's supporting Joel Embiid in the chat at this point. It's kind of interesting. I really thought this was going to go differently, but I like this. I like to have a little bit of a disagreement sometimes. And why is LeBron play a victim? Why do you think why do people think he's a victim? Because he left Cleveland? He does make excuses. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting soft in my old age, and this article pulled on some of my threads on my needles, and I'm feeling a little bit different today about him as I have in the past. Depends on where you go. Ham, salami, capicola, prosciutto. There's a lot of things that can go on an Italian sub. Depends on where you go, which is why I hate the modern NBA. Well, that's a different subject, whether we like the modern NBA or not. Victor Hovland just rolling up. Man, he must not tee off for a while if he's just rolling up. I agree 100%. I don't take any side, Phil. I pack on all their houses. Embiid is being paid a fortune. Don't ask me to feel sorry for that a-hole. See, see, the thing is, when this comes to any athlete and the money they make, we've got to take the money that these athletes make out of the equation. It's not the athlete's fault they get paid like this. Owners and leagues have let in contracts get out of hand in sports. Really. It goes back to Tobias Harris. What, Tobias Harris supposed to turn away all that money because he's not worth it? No. It's not Joel Embiid's fault that he's making $70 million a year to not play basketball. That's the owner's fault. That's the league's fault. If Embiid was making $5 million this year, would you feel differently about him and his situation? That's not his fault. Okay? I don't worry. I try to leave the money, unless we're talking about building a team and contracts and salaries or salary caps and tax thresholds and stuff. I don't think about the contracts when I evaluate athletes. I never do. Well, if you don't feel great, do you go into work, Phil? No, I mean, well, I do because I own the place, and the person I would call out to is myself. But when I don't feel great, or if I got hurt, when I broke my orbital in 4 spots, I missed time at work, and I still got paid for disability. Okay? And they probably all complained at work about me. But it was part of the game. Embiid playing the martyr role. If it's that bad, then just retire. But no, it's about the money. Well, of course you're not. When you have it, well, first off, if he retires, the money still goes to him. It just gets spread out over time. And it doesn't help the salary cap that much, just so you know. He still gets paid, and that still counts against the cap, just so you know. I think it gets spread out a couple extra years. It doesn't save the Sixers anything, just so you know. But why would you turn away all that money? Why would you turn away? What's he owed now? Like $200 million over the next 3 years? You'd be an idiot to turn that away. Don't even Rick bring in fire. Look, we got TMZ and Rick on the same side. It really shows just how unbelievable incompetent the Sixers are. I do buy that his first foot injury was screwed up by the first doctor. I mean, an intern managing his situation, right? How's that even possible? How? And you want to blame Joel, you want to call him a loser or, whatever. But I think this article should be more of about an eye-opening thing about this Sixers organization, ownership and management. Ownership is to blame for giving him a contract after he played in the Olympics. The ownership and Embiid are made for each other. It feels Philly is just paying for their toxic relationship. Yeah, I guess. I'm not letting the team management off the hook. When you have to go after 6 different doctors to clear a player to sign him again is a huge fault. Embiid should have leaked his injury himself. Yeah, look, I've always felt this way. I've said this since they gave him the extension. The fact that you need to find 6 doctors finally to find one to clear him. That right there was the big red flag in this whole situation. So he's blaming the company that's paid him almost $1 billion for his laziness. No, he's blaming the company for not helping him get right. It sounds like they are trying to force him to play when he's not ready to play. I am getting soft. Absolutely. Go to Rica's in South Philly and get an old-fashioned Italian. You will know it. Yeah, exactly. I've heard of that place. I haven't been there before. LeBron plays the victim because he wants and needs everyone to like him. LeBron says, why is ring culture such a big thing? And then has been, look, I don't want to make this about LeBron, but I get it. I'm not a Mortadella fan. Not at all. Fully guaranteed contracts should never have been a thing. MLB's fault for starting that stupidity. Yeah, we're going to get into the guaranteed contracts because we finally have another second-round pick signed. So maybe the floodgates open and Drew Makuba gets his contract signed. I don't hear Harper blaming the Phillies for his injuries. Don't hear Nakobe Dean blaming the Eagles. Right. But, again, Joel Embiid is not blaming the Sixers for getting hurt. He's blaming the Sixers for how they manage his recovery, how they manage his his maintenance. He's blaming the sick. Harper gets healthy and comes back when he's ready. Jacoby Dean is being managed properly by Eagles doctors, and he might be ready sooner than expected. There's a difference. Joel Embiid, the point of the interview was to put light on how bad Sixers management is, ownership is. That Josh Harris, you got different types of owners. Jeffrey Lurie, Jacoby Dean's not blaming the Eagles because Jeffrey Lurie's the best owner in sports. Bryce Harper isn't blaming John Middleton because John Middleton spends stupid money and doesn't seem to have that kind of a reputation. Phil, when your employees play hooky, please don't think about their pay. Yeah, okay. Different. But disability only pays between, I got 80%. So, yeah, or 75%. Yeah. It's true. It's true. I'm the guy who wanted the dude traded before last year's deadline. I knew he was damaged goods. Yeah, look, and I came around with you on that. It took some convincing, but I came around. I'm not denying that Joel Embiid, the player, is washed. I'm not denying that Joel Embiid, the player, might never play again. Not denying any of that. What I'm denying is that it's entirely his fault, this situation. Always supported Embiid, but I ain't buying this falsehood. Yeah, I mean, again, as K1 called me soft. Maybe I'm soft for this. Maybe I have become too soft, Rick, in my old age. Good morning, Little G. Hope you're well. And yes, kick the Cowboys' butt. Look, I got Little G brings up the great idea here to switch the topic for a second. And Shane Gillis last night. I will repeat it on video at least 1,000 times today. Dallas sucks. Go Birds. Exactly. Love it. Love it. Steve has my favorite take so far. I mean, I get all your takes, and I think you're all talking about it in a very fair way. Okay? We're not just calling him a bum and a loser. We're breaking it down here, the Joel Embiid situation. But I just firmly disagree. Embiid is getting 100% of his contract, even injured and not working at all. He can make meetings. He can be on calls when I am sick, unless really badly, so I still try to work from home. Well, that's him getting 100% of his contract when he's hurt and not playing. Is that Joel Embiid's fault, or is that the NBA fault? Is that the owner's fault for putting that in the collective bargaining agreement? That's, again, him getting his contract while hurt. That's not, is Joel Embiid supposed to go to management and be like, yo, you don't got to pay me, I'm hurt? That's not the way it works. Joel Embiid's hurt. The contract says he gets paid. He's still getting paid. It's not his fault. The money and the contracts are not his fault. Was he supposed to, last offseason, when he was offered that extension, over $200 million extension, no, I'm banged up. I might not be able to play much over the next couple of years. I don't want your money. Is that what he's supposed to do? Again, that's blame on ownership and the league. Because I want to keep my job. He doesn't have to worry about that. Again, not his fault. For years when I hear Embiid, I think Costanza with his injury and Scooter. Oh, man. He didn't actually have an injury. All right, he was faking it. Are we going to talk about Embiid this entire show? I brought up at the opening of the show, I listed a long list of things to discuss today. We got Alfred Collins, San Francisco's second-round pick, signing, opening the floodgates for other second-rounders. Von Miller signed with Washington. The old man's home is growing in Washington. The ESPYs last night. The Phillies, predictions for the second half. Our poll question, is a World Series appearance a must for Rob Thomson and Dave Dombrowski to keep his job? Make sure you guys vote. Make sure you're liking. Make sure you're subscribing. There's a lot on the agenda. I love the ESPYs, the Katie Schumacher-Cauley speech and story. Every year when the ESPYs come on, the ESPYs are stupid in general, but I watch the V Foundation speech every single year, whoever is nominated for that award. And I make sure I listen to it. It pulls on my, tearing up, listen to her talk. Tearing up, listen to her story. He could have retired at any time. He won it. He could have. But Rick, if you have $100 million on the table, you ain't retiring and passing up on that money. You're not. Remember when the Eagles medical got called out, the Eagles went and got better medical team. And B called out the Sixers, they may have changed the medical teams. Look, see, great point. Have they changed anything? I mean, we haven't learned that they've changed anything. Nothing changed last year. Maybe this year things will be different. That's why the Eagles is an A-plus class organization. And that's why the Sixers are a dumpster fire. Whether you hate Joel Embiid, Josh Harris, or whoever in between, the Sixers as a whole. Would anybody right now, if Josh Harris said, yo, we're moving the team to Baltimore. I don't know. Just thinking of a city that doesn't have an NBA team. Oh, they got the Washington, but we're moving the team to Charleston, South Carolina. Would any Sixers fan get upset? I know I wouldn't at this point. I mean, I'd be upset I'm losing my franchise, but honestly, it would be for the better. If it was that bad, he could have retired. This is a puff piece to turn people on the franchise so he doesn't have to take any accountability. It's definitely a piece to turn people on the franchise. But A, some of us have already been turned on the franchise. I don't think it has anything to do with him not wanting to take accountability because he still wants to play. He still wants to get as healthy as he can. If you read the piece, you can tell he wants to be out there. He wants to still prove what he is capable of. His legacy is very, very important to him. Okay? So, yes, it's a puff piece to turn people on the franchise, but I still think he takes accountability. The article doesn't change much of an opinion on Embiid for me, but it makes me double down. Exactly. Maybe it swayed me a little bit more positively on Embiid, but not much. But it definitely made me triple down, quadruple down on the Sixers organization. That Josh Harris will never, ever, ever get this team over the hump. Shane Gillis did a great job. Shane Gillis did. I know a lot of people, and I know, Rick, you would appreciate Shane Gillis like me. I felt awkward laughing at his jokes because so many people weren't laughing at his jokes. I still love the WNBA joke the most. It was the least awkward joke he did. He pointed out some girl in the audience and said, and hello to four-time All-Star WNBA player, whatever her name was, and everyone's cheering for this person. He's like, oh, that's just my wife's friend. She's not an NBA player. You guys all fool. I knew you didn't know who any WNBA players were. That was, to me, the greatest joke of the night right there. Literally was. And the tush-push pre-recorded piece was great, too. At the same time, if Joe, as bad as everyone made him out to be, though, would Jimmy Butler have a lick of respect for the guy? Not a chance in hell. Great point. Great point on Joel Embiid's side right there, Nooms. Absolutely. I don't blame Embiid for getting paid, but don't be a whiny bitch about it. Is he? He's just trying to bring awareness to what the Sixers organization is. I disagree. If you read the article through and through, you know he still takes accountability. He still cares. I want Embiid to be the first person in the building, the last one out. Make basketball for at least one season. Well, he can't make it his top priority when he can't get healthy either. That's another big part of it. I think the Sixers are dicks for $200 million extensions, which could fix world hunger. Again, I don't like to get upset about the money because that's not his fault. That's nobody's fault. Not in his DNA. Doesn't matter whose fault it is. He is still getting paid. Working is a work ethic. I get paid. I make an effort to do my job at all levels. It's fine. Morning, Brianna. How you doing? $200 million cannot fix world hunger. Probably not, actually. A seed change about how we deal with food. We're going to get way too deep into that, so we're just going to go right over all that. Embiid still get paid. If he retires, he should do himself and all of us favor and ride off in the sunset. And I think that's going to happen, honestly, at some point. Maybe not this year, but at some point, I think that's going to happen. It's hard to read that article and not have confirmation bias. That article wasn't written for the Philly market, if you ask me. It's interesting. It was written for Joel Embiid. It really was. Muchas gracias, Adam. Thank you very much. Thank you. I greatly appreciate it, Adam. I still maintain that article was AI generated and Phil has been manipulated by the algorithm. I don't know if you're serious about this or not. I really need to know if you're serious about this. That article won't help him get on another team either. So what is the end goal? Yeah, I agree with this. That article won't make a team be like, yo, I got to call the Sixers and make a huge trade offer for Joel Embiid. That's a fantastic point right there. Because they can tell how broken and beaten he is, how worn down he is, how mentally. I mean, does anybody read that article and think Joel Embiid has some serious mental issues and depression issues now? Like, I really feel the guy needs, I mean, I think he is seeing a therapist now. Yes, exactly. Shout out to Adam. Muchas gracias. Always appreciate it. The end goal is telling the story of how we got here. Again, Nooms, you're on fire with the comments. Fire on the comments here on this. Caring and accountability are two different things. I care about things, but do I always go out there and do something about it? Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I'm going to take $200 million, but I don't ever want to be a person who is not happy about it. There's so much AI generated stuff that there is. There absolutely is. And AI generated stuff is definitely becoming a bit excessive, unnecessary. I just looked at your comment. Yeah, he's up to 2 under now. He was already at 2 under. I guess he bogeyed somewhere. I know John Rahm just made another bogey to fall back to even par. I do hope Embiid gets the help he needs mentally. Yes. I mean, if you read the article, Rick, you could definitely tell whether he's making excuses or not, that mentally he sounds like a broken man. Really, really sounds like a broken man. At least that's my opinion. You can rehab and still be in the building first and last out. Get in shape, hire a chef and personal nutritionist, put the video game controller down. Just because he isn't on the court, he can still leave. And look, he might not be the first in, first out. He definitely over the years worked on his nutrition. 2 years ago, he came into great shape. The guy's won an MVP. Okay. So he's put the work in. Put the video controller down. I mean, look, athletes play video games. That's how they wind down. That's how they do things. Whatever. And he's there most of the time on the court when he's not playing. Look, the problem I think was that he tried to put the rehab in, but knew the rehab wasn't enough or wasn't right. And the Sixers organization were trying too hard to get a return on their investment immediately instead of fixing the problems Joel Embiid had. Sometimes, I always talk about this, sometimes it's okay to take a step back in sports so you can take 2 steps forward. The Sixers organization didn't know that last year, got to take a step back. Let's get him 100% right. But instead, they tried to force him to play. And he did until he couldn't anymore. Okay? And then he said, look, he went and said, look, this is not working. Okay? We need something else to get this knee healthy so I can be pain-free. And the organization said, no, this is what we're doing. So this is a cry for help that the Sixers organization is not helping him get healthy so he can do what he needs to do on the court. Embiid is suffering from he don't want to play ball itis. I don't know about that. Embiid being first in and last out is most likely not going to happen now if nothing else that happened caused him to want to do it. Either you got it or you're not. That's fair. It's fair. And yes, Joel Embiid does not have that Mamba mentality. Absolutely not. Very few people have that. Jalen Hurts has that. Jalen Hurts might be the only athlete in all of Philadelphia right now that has that. I can look across the 4 major sports leagues, Steve, and probably only name 4 or 5 athletes, period, that have the Mamba mentality. Not everybody's got that. I am going soft. Embiid played in the Olympics. The Sixers didn't force him to do that. That is true. And you know what? And it was a mistake. And I still blame Joel Embiid for that. Now, he wanted to play in the Olympics. I get that. I know it was a mistake. He never thought he was that good and probably should have stayed at Kansas until he had the confidence. But, I'm not even going to try to say his name, told him it was time to get paid. Yeah. So let me put it this way. He got his league MVP. He got his Olympic gold. Then he stopped. He's settling for the gold as his championship. He might be, because he might know also that he can't lead a team to one anymore. And again, I don't think he'll ever play again. At least not this year. I think you summed it up a little bit to an extent there. I'm so soft. Phil, I think Doug the oven guy needs a year or 2 to rehab with full pay. What? I'm still waiting for the oven guy to come fix my oven right now. Guys, you're watching Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. If you have not already. We're at 12 likes so far. Hit that like button. Hit that share button. And please subscribe. Vote on the poll today. It's not dunking on me. It's just two sides of an opinion. I don't understand why you like me being dunked on. I think K1 is AI generated at this point. And same thing with TMZ. I think there are two AI generated bots that comment on this show. And that's it. There's no dunking. It's just two strongly disagreeing opinions here. Very disagreeing opinions. And after that birdie on 10, Scheffler's got about 40 feet for a par putt, just so you know. I think Joe is telling us he was finally comfortable in his own skin, and at least for a few months we got to see it. He is there now and is going to give it a go. He is going to give it a go. But he's also not going to give it a go until he feels 100% confident that he can. 13 likes, need more. And so, yeah, let's go. Like, share, subscribe. It's pretty easy to do. It's free to do. I will never go on a cruise. We're not going to start talking cruises again. I have a filter that spills tea and bad takes. Yes, I think it is. I think it's all AI generated. I know Rick's a real person. I don't know if K1's a real person. The Sixers need to focus on winning without Embiid, which is very possible as his team does still have talent, Maxey, McCain, and VJ. Solid building blocks. So you got Maxey, who's a star. You got McCain, who's a rising star. And you've got two young guys that are building blocks that might become stars. Now, I don't know if those four guys are going to get you a deep run alone. Not this year. But if you strip Joel Embiid and Paul George off this team, at least we would be working for something towards the future, right? And that's all I want. I want this team to start looking to the future and not try to sell us that the Daryl Morey BS that this team is trying to win a championship this year. This team is not going to win a championship this year. Unless Joel Embiid magically finds some potion and is healthy. And Paul George finds some potion to resort back to all-pro Paul George from 10 years ago. Which is not the case. So they've got the building blocks. And again, this is where you take a step back as a team so that you can take 2 steps forward. Matthew Fitzpatrick's been good. Yeah, well, is he 3 under? He's in 3rd place right now. Like to see it. I think athletes should have some expectations to perform and the average employee. I don't do any of that, okay? Those crowns are all YouTube generated. Nothing to do with me. Jesper Svensson 2 under through 6 holes. The better Svensson, right? Yeah, I don't know. They only have 5 names up on the board right now. Phil, do you want Sixers to be a bottom team with a charity case or trade him for? See, the thing is, you can't trade him. Okay, you'll never be good until you actually believe it. No matter how much people tell you, Harper knows he is good. Kobe knew it. They were told that since the age of 5. It's an interesting. So you're telling me Joel Embiid has never been told that he was good? He was never given enough vote of confidence to believe in his talents? Is that what you're trying to say? I just want to make sure I understand your statement there. And if that's the case, that's interesting. We told Joel Embiid he was great. Same expectations of perform as the average employee. But see, there's got to be different expectations. Every job has different expectations. Every paycheck. I tell my employees, if you're making $10 an hour or $15 an hour, I have different expectations of you. And yes, that counters my opinions on Joel Embiid. Joel was told it, but never believed it. Gotcha. Nooms, what the hell are you talking about? No, I get what he's talking about. The crown system is the biggest scam since the Dewey Decimal System. I believed in the Dewey Decimal System. There was a place for the Dewey Decimal System. Guys, another thing that's coming up here, I'm going to save it for about 15, 20 minutes from now. All right? My top 10 James Bond movies of all time. I put the list together for you guys because it was requested yesterday. We're going to dive into that about 9:05 this morning because he didn't hoop until he was 16. That's true. And, I mean, he's been hurt. Let's be honest. He had a pretty severe back injury early in his career at Kansas as well, right, Nooms? Was it a back injury that he had? I think it was a back injury. It's the opposite. The more you make, the more is expected, except in the NBA. can always be counted on to save us with a funny comment. I mean, it wasn't that funny, that comment. It was one of his weaker moments, that comment right there. All right, who's this on the green? Kanjana for birdie on hole number 7 to tie for the lead. And it slides right below the bottom of the cup. All right. It was AI generated. Everything you do is AI generated. Top 10 K1 jokes that went over Phil's head. That you guys would have to pull out or put together. Not me. There are plenty of them. I mean, I got the Dewey Decimal System one because I'm old like that. I used the Dewey Decimal System as you did, Nooms. We don't know if K1 ever did because K1 might be fake. Top 10 which core 12 members might be AI generated. K1 and Bills Need Edge would definitely be the top 2 on that one. They're the only 2 I'm 100% sure aren't real people. All right, so we've covered a lot of this, Joel Embiid, and we can continue doing it. It was from Seinfeld? I don't remember that joke from Seinfeld. That wasn't from the Library Cop episode. Top 10 boomer tech things Phil should know how to do by now. Yeah, there's a lot of that. Oh, well. So what are we talking? We're talking Joel Embiid. If K1 doesn't want to talk Joel Embiid, we can also get some Phillies conversations into the equation here. Is a World Series appearance a must for Rob Thomson and Dave Dombrowski to keep their job? Right now on the poll, 54% say yes, 15% say no, 15% say just Dave Dombrowski, 15% say just Rob Thomson. Will Drew Makuba get signed now that Alfred Collins has started to set the tone for the second-round picks? Von Miller goes to Washington. The retirement home grows. All on the equation today. See, I'm trying to watch and read comments at the same time. Embiid is done. He needs to step aside and figure out his post-NBA career. I agree. You know, is it coincidental if this was a puff piece for Joel Embiid's sake? Is it also coincidental that this week a video was released of him playing basketball in the driveway with his son Arthur and goofing around, having fun, trying to show the human side of Joel Embiid? Because I truly worry about athletes like Joel Embiid that have had massive injury, runs in their career, what their post-playing days will be like. Do we really want Joel Embiid to not be able to walk, not be able to stand, to be in a wheelchair when he's 55 years old? He's got to start thinking about his kids, his grandkids someday. We're going to get to my top 10 James Bond movies. Some may surprise you. If he retires, does he get the money? Somehow he gets the money. I don't know how it works with the retirement, though. I do know retirement only slightly affects the salary cap. If the Phillies finally have health issues in October, I wonder how that impacts Dombrowski. I don't know. I think there's no excuses for Dombrowski and Rob Thomson. Dave Dombrowski needs to be aggressive. I think Dave Dombrowski is probably on the hotter seat. I think both are on the hot seat, Rob Thomson and Dave Dombrowski. I think Dave Dombrowski's on a much hotter seat. If Rob Thompson's temperature of his seat is 98 degrees, then Rob Thompson's at least at 135. Will Smilman beat out Jeremiah Trotter Jr. for a rot? Well, they're both going to make the roster. Okay. Well, I'll work on a pre-training camp 53-man roster prediction, and we'll go over that next week. Okay. But both of them will be on the roster. How concerned are you for Ben Simmons' post-NBA career? Oh, man. Look at you being funny. That's not an AI-generated comment. Phil, I'm going to be honest. I probably will never think of Embiid once he retires. See, I will. I will always think about what could have been. Phillies win the World Series. Yeah, and I know you feel that way, Rick. But if they do not get to the World Series, do either of those two people get fired? Do one of them get fired? Do both of them get fired? I have an expectation to get there. I don't know if they will, but I have that expectation set on this franchise. Will Phil mourn over Embiid on the yacht? I mean, I won't be on a yacht. He might be on a yacht. He's made enough money to own his own yacht. But that's all different. Guys, there's like 15, 16 people watching. We don't have that many likes. Like, share, subscribe, please, guys, and vote on our poll question. We are 10 minutes away from the top 10 James Bond movies of all time being released. And I'm gonna throw something in. We're watching golf here. We're talking U.S. or the Open Championship. We're talking lots of things. Someone needs to tell Embiid he's not going to be able to walk when he turns 50. It's called old people disease. That's true. Yeah, Scottie bogeyed. I set that up already. I'm going to throw something else in the equation because I'm a huge poker guy. Used to want to be a professional poker player. The World Series of Poker main event ended yesterday with Michael, the grinder, Mizrachi, beating out over 9,000 other people to take home the $10 million first place prize. His 8th World Series of Poker bracelet. Only the second person to ever win the PPC and the main event in the same year. Probably the player of the year this year. Shout out to the grinder. One of the old school, poker boom guys finally winning a main event. Very rarely do you see a guy like the grinder win the main event. So shout out to the grinder right there. Hopefully Andrew Makuba signs before camp begins. And I think with Alfred Collins signing, he signed his deal with 88% of it guaranteed. There was one guy that got fully guaranteed. It set a new standard. Now all these second-round picks were holding out. Now that Alfred Collins set the tone, 88%, I think a whole bunch of guys this weekend will start getting signed. And I would assume that Howie Roseman will get this done with Drew Makuba. There was a video circulating yesterday of him and Jahad Campbell working out together. Drew Makuba wants to get here. Howie Roseman wants him to get here. I think it gets done this weekend. And we'll be talking about that on Monday. Their Sixers were polarized. Their Sixers were polarized on Joe and Harris was too absentee to do a damn thing about it. Create a culture, shit or get off the air. Absolutely. Josh Harris has created a bad culture by being an absentee owner. Top 10 reasons why I'm seeing New Naked go. Oh, I'm absolutely seeing it. Dude, the grinder is a beast, man. The grinder is probably one of the most underrated poker players of the last 20 years, without a doubt, in my opinion. And I loved seeing somebody like him from back when I played poker regularly get a chance and have it and complete it. So loved it. It is still a dream of mine to one day play in the main event. Now, I don't think my mind probably is good enough. I would have to get back into the game to do it. And the game has changed a lot in the last 20 plus years since I stopped playing semi-professionally. One has to get fired. Players will need to be changed as well. It'll be an overall, which usually happens after you try to run it back and it fails. Hopefully they'll win the World Series. Exactly. That's how I feel. The grinder is no Phil Hellmuth. I know he's not an asshole. World Series poker main event is brutal. People required to play 7 days per week. Yeah, oh, absolutely. That absolutely, Purist. It is a feat of endurance, not just, a great poker player. You almost got to get lucky to win the main event. Well, you definitely, at the final table, he had a hand where he was all in for his tournament life at stake with ace king versus pocket kings, and he spiked the ace on the river, the case ace. So, yeah, it's brutal, but it's still an honor to win it. And the $10 million don't hurt either. Way too much talk about grinder, yeah. Should set up trending in the AM poker game. I'd be in for sure. I haven't played poker in a long time, and it would be very unfair for me to play poker with you guys. I love watching old videos of Negreanu owning Hellmuth. Oh, I love them. I love any video of Hellmuth blowing up at his opponent. I love the old Mike Mattisau Hellmuth battles and stuff like that. Who was the poker player that murdered his parents? I know, but I forget now his name. Jordan Mailata got the most swagger. Did you see him control the crowd? Jordan Mailata, he is a swagger guy. He's absolutely. Look at that. Sergio Garcia 1 under, making a birdie. Y'all laughed at me about Sergio Garcia this week. He's got so much swagger. So much swagger. You still play? I used to play a lot. Lot of poker. Played in some WSOP circuit events, some main events and stuff like that. Used to be a regular at the Borgata Poker Winter and Spring Opens. Never won any major championships, but won plenty of titles and cashed in many main events and stuff like that. Had a lot of fun in my poker days, but it was a very difficult thing, and it was even not playing in the main event, playing poker regularly for money. It's a grind. I am not on Grinder, okay? Let's not start that rumor. Please don't do that. That would be something that we probably shouldn't start. All right, we're up to 15 likes on the video right now. Please hit that like button, subscribe button. And I know a couple people, poker on Poker Go is unwatchable. Bring back ESPN. Yeah, absolutely agree. I'm not paying for Poker Go to watch it. I used to love watching poker because I would study it for when I played, but I don't think it's as good as it used to be on television. For sure. Yeah, no. Poker is good detective practice, is it? To an extent, yeah. I mean, that's basically what it is. You're trying to find clues to get the answer, right? That's what poker is. Putting together clues. There's some math in poker as well. I was very good at the math end of things. I don't think my mind acts fast enough nowadays to do the math quickly enough now. I played poker and I had success in poker because of the math side of things. I played No Limit mostly. I have played Pot Limit Omaha. I never was a fan of Pot Limit anything. I rather play. I played mostly No Limit. Played a little bit of limit poker as well, or limit poker and some 7-card stud. A little bit of deuce low as well. Poker is as much about playing the people at the table as it is playing the cards. It is. And there's two different styles of playing poker. Some people do both, the cards and the people. Some people just play the people. Some people just play the cards. I was definitely heavier on playing the cards and the odds. I've won a few decent poker tournaments in my life. I won 14K at the Todd. Wow, nice. Good for you. You need Dustin Hoffman to help you with the cards. Nowadays, I would. Good morning, Mitchy Poo. Don't you got another morning show to go watch? Master P player, No Limit. What? I love you, Mitchy Poo. Nothing but love for you. Xander Schauffele with a long birdie putt on hole 12. It's going to slide under the hole there, though. Be a little short. Where are we at here? We still got Olesen and Lee tied at 4 under with the lead. We got Jordan, not Michael Jordan, Matthew Jordan, Matthew Fitzpatrick, and Keikon Jana at 3 under, and a whole slew of people, including Kawamoto at 2 under. Rounders was an under. Rounders is a phenomenal movie. That's man. I quote Rounders on this show more than people realize. I make a lot of Rounders references on this show. Whenever I say something like unbridled enthusiasm, and I use that several times a month on this show. And most times people don't pick up on it. KGB, underrated character. Rounders, great flick. Still waiting on that sequel. I want to start a Harlem Globetrotter for poker. Imagine allowing rebuy-ins. Imagine pros wearing masks to keep anonymous. Yeah. I mean, you can rebuy in a lot of poker things. Not all things, but at least early in events sometimes. I hated rebuy events. I hated the way people played in rebuy events. Borgata used to have a regular $100 bot rebuy an event. And I hated having to fire extra bullets into events like that. Not really my thing. But anyway. All right, we're almost there. We're almost at the top of the hour here. We can continue talking the Sixers as much as you want in the Joel Embiid situation. We can continue talking the Phillies. Is it a World Series appearance must for those two guys to keep their job? We're talking football. When will Drew Makuba sign? Are we sad that Von Miller went to the Washington Commanders and not Philly? We're talking all that stuff and more. And Katie Schumacher, Cauley, winner for the Courage for me. What a hell of a story last night on the ESPYs for her. Well done producing that. We should do a private online game. It would be, where can we do a private online game? I don't have an online account for like not DraftKings, like Poker Stars or anything like that anymore. But Al, if you want to put together a private online game and explain to me how we do that, we could set that up. We could do a Trending in the AM online private game. Friendly, $20 each. My old buddy worked at a pizza delivery guy in high school for the local parlor. He used it as a front to deliver free base to his feet. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how you would set it up, but yeah, don't play Big Al here. Well, we know Big Al's not AI generated either, just so you know. Pay Phil the money. That's right. Pay me my money. All right. Check. All you do is trap me. Von Miller's top 10. See, here's I'm working on Nooms. You wanted the top 10 too late players in Philadelphia. Here's the problem with this. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 19 names already on the list of the top 10. We got them too late players in Philadelphia. None of them stand out. Like, I got a lot of like top 10 guys, but I can't figure out what order to put them in. It's really, really tough one to put. But yes, Von Miller, everybody is not realizing how old Washington is going to be this year. It's the biggest issue. The age. Von Miller, I don't know about that. I don't think he's as injury prone as Joel Embiid. Yeah, he went to the Commanders. It was announced yesterday. GoldenEye will not be number 1 on my top 10 list. GoldenEye is in my top 10 list. Don't you worry. I believe it has made my top 5. GoldenEye is a great James Bond movie, but it is not number 1 on my list. And Gold what? Ari Gold, what? You know, it's the top of the hour. Guys, hit that like button, that subscribe button, that share button. Do it. Vote on our poll question. I think Von Miller helps the Commanders if he plays a role like Chris Long did for the Eagles. It's a great point, Big Al. We're going to bash this role or this signing all this time, but you're very much spot on. If he can stay healthy and have a very small role to just help lead the defense, absolutely can play that Chris Long role and make a play or two for the Washington Commanders this year. I would push to the top the players that were supposed to have the most impact, like the Flyers selling on Howard, Chuck, or Oates. The only Flyer that I've made on this list so far was Paul Coffey, but he actually had some impact. No. So I have 3 Flyers on this list. There's others. I knew that we added more. Paul Coffey, Jaromir Jagr, and Peter Forsberg, all on my list so far. But Paul Coffey, we at least made the cup that year. He just didn't have a Hall of Fame type time here. I really feel like Chris Webber might be number 1 on my list. Chris Webber and Paul George. A lot of Sixers and a lot of NFL wide receivers on this list. All right, well, I know. I told you who was number 1 yesterday at the pizza shop. GoldenEye could also be top 10 Nintendo games list. Well, it was a Super Nintendo game. Or it was an N64 game. It wasn't on regular NES. Von is on fumes. Jagr's pretty good in Philly. Yeah, but he wasn't Jaromir Jagr, the MVP caliber 40, 50 goal scorer in Philly. I mean, we got him pretty late. He was like in his late 30s when we got him. I mean, hell, the guy might still be playing now. I don't know. All right, without further ado, it's time. We're going to start doing top 10 lists regularly here. Here is my top 10 James Bond movies of all time. It may surprise you. It may not. Number 1 on the list, Casino Royale, the first James Bond movie done by Daniel Craig, the greatest origin story ever done on the big screen. Number 2, Goldfinger, arguably Sean Connery's best role as James Bond right there. No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. Auric Goldfinger, the greatest Bond villain of all time. Skyfall. Most people think Skyfall is the best James Bond movie. I do not. It's a great, great movie, but Casino Royale is better. GoldenEye, Pierce Brosnan's first time. Phenomenal movie. Live and Let Die. Roger Moore, number 5. Number 6, the first James Bond movie I ever watched. It's probably not that good of a movie, but because it's the first one I watched, From Russia with Love is number 6. The Man with the Golden Gun. The Man with the Third Appendage. Love it, love it, love it. Tomorrow Never Dies. Elliot Carver, one of the more unique Bond villains of all time. And Terry Hatcher was in it, and I love Terry Hatcher. On Her Majesty's Secret Service, number 9, the one George Lazenby flick, and License to Kill with Timothy Dalton, number 10. There we go. N64 for GoldenEye. Okay, gotcha. End it. More for, yeah, absolutely agree. I was awful at it. My friends used to destroy me in it all the time. Is Justin Simmons a lock for the Eagles? No, he is not, Adam. I don't think Justin Simmons will be here at this point. Von Miller's washed despite 6 sacks last year, 0 the year before. 36 hasn't played a full season 4 years. Exactly. But if he plays the Chris Long role, I think there's a role on this team, on the Commanders for him. He could be a leader. He could be influence the young players. Well, there's not many young players on the team. He's got championship experience. I will say Yager is one of the few that really fired up Giroux and got him to elevate his game. That's fair. Shouldn't 10 and up. Yeah, I guess I should have read them backwards. If I had time, I would make a slideshow so you wouldn't see them all. But I don't got time. I barely had time to put together this nickel and dime graphic here. At least Phil owns his reasons. Terry Hatcher is always a legit. Terry Hatcher is my top 3 all time. Okay. I watched Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, just because of her. All right. But I also loved Elliot Carver for Tomorrow Never Dies. You always had this guy trying to steal, like, that was the only time. So Elliot Carver, for those that don't know, in Tomorrow Never Dies, he was a media tycoon using the media to take over the world. Where have we seen that in recent times? I think it's a reasonable list. I think some people will put Goldfinger or Skyfall 1, 2, and Casino Royale wouldn't be that high for most people. I think Casino Royale is hands down the best James Bond movie and probably the greatest origins movie of all time. Job was cheating, was he? I'm not saying that out loud, Big Al, but I even watched Desperate Housewife with my wife a few times because Terry Hatcher was in it. And they're real and they're spectacular, just so you know. I have a spoilers question for No Time to Die. If you haven't seen No Time to Die, then by this point, then go ahead, spoil it. I have seen it. I saw it the weekend it came out. There's only one, GoldenEye was the first one I saw in a movie theater. And I've seen every single one but Quantum of Solace opening weekend. So you're not spoiling anything for me. What was your first James Bond? The first one I ever saw was From Russia with Love with my dad. I was probably like 8 or 9 years old. And I fell in love with him, with the character and the stories right away. I get it, K1. A lot of people think Goldfinger is the greatest. And it's almost like a 1A, 1B with Casino Royale for me. Or Goldfinger, the great. It's probably the best villain of all time. Do Sean Connery impersonation? No, I'm not. Vaughn probably wanted to play for a defensive-minded head coach like Dan Quinn. All Von Miller did was make Washington older than they already were. Exactly. Washington has a retirement home growing in D.C. there, and they just added to it. I hope they had enough beds for them in the retirement home. Your reaction to James Bond dying in No Time to Die, I hated it. I understood the story. I understood the premise, and Daniel Craig didn't want to come back. I also don't like how the movies, I like the Pierce Brosnan and the Roger Moore's individual stories. I don't need a storyline carried over 3 movies with James Bond. I liked how they were always individual stories. And No Time to Die wrapped up that story arc, but on the flip side, that's not what James Bond is. I just didn't think it was necessary. I also think No Time to Die ruined Rami Malek, a great actor. They had a potential to write one of the greatest villains of all time there, and they wasted that actor on a terribly written villain as well. Madeline Swan, sorry, his girl in those last couple movies I didn't like her character at all. I would put No Time to Die in my bottom 5, right there with Quantum of Solace, as the worst movies done for James Bond. Too Late versus Philly Duds is a close parallel. Greg Jeffries, Lance Parrish. Greg Jeffries wasn't really too late. Maybe he was. Lance Parrish, I'll add him to the list for maybes. I don't mind putting Lance Parrish on the maybe list. The Phillies on my list so far that might make it: Michael Young, Dale Murphy, Jose Batista, Pedro Martinez, Pete Rose, Danny Tartable. They're the Phillies on my list so far, Nooms. That might make the top 10. Yeah, I love it. Jonathan, good morning. You voted yes to the poll. Roger Moore, my favorite Bond, and Live and Let Die favorite. Live and Let Die is a phenomenal movie. Roger Moore doesn't get the respect he deserves for the James Bond. I mean, he played, him 7 times? And they were all good to great. Hell, even A View to Kill. Who doesn't love Christopher Walken with the machine gun, just shooting all those people? Really good. Top 10, We Hardly Knew You. Charlie Morton, Danny Tartable would be on that list. It'd be Danny Tartable on 2 lists. Frank Gore would probably be we're going to write that on the list here. Top 10, We Hardly Knew You. Tartable, Frank Gore, tops on that list. Top 10's on that list for sure. Why was there sharks at weddings? Yeah. Top 10 finest Bond girls. Well, Vespa Lynn in the Casino Royale is number 1, hands down. Terry Hatcher, number 2. Even though she had such a minor role in Tomorrow Never Dies. They would be the top 2, hands down for me. No doubt about it. But there's my list. Guys, like, share, subscribe, vote on the poll. We're talking Sixers. We're talking Joel Embiid. We're talking Open Championship. Lee Westwood shoots 2 under today. To be locked into the top 10 entering round 2. Gotta love that. I love a good Lee Westwood run. I didn't bet Sergio, but I did say Sergio was going to contend this week. Like top 20, top 25 or so. Love Sergio this week. Marco Murray, We Hardly Knew You. Yeah, there's a lot of them. Does Hunter Pence go the we hardly knew you, or the we got you too late, or the I don't know, biggest disappointments? I don't know. Fire list. Well, I'm glad you like it. I'm hoping you've seen them all. Also, I put 2 on the honorable mention list. You Only Live Twice and Dr. No. Dr. No being the first James Bond movie ever. Well, not really, because the original Casino Royale was the first, but we don't count that in the James Bond lore. But You Only Live Twice, very good, different one as well. A Too Late We Rarely Talk About, Jake Arrieta, yeah. Oh, he's on a couple lists. Jake Arrieta, I think I wrote his name down on several lists I'm putting together. Yeah, Arrieta's on that list, yeah. Right there. I'm working on the Got Them Too Late list, Robbed Some Money list, top 10 hated rivals. I've added a couple here to it that we didn't talk about yesterday. I'm doing the top 10 movie franchises of all time and top 10 what the F moments in Philly sports, good and bad. So we got quite a few lists over the next couple weeks to put together. Aaron Nola is homegrown, but free agent signed last year. Does he make your 2 old free agents? No, that does. We're talking about people we bring in. Teams often overpay to retain their guys sometimes. So that would be a different. That could be a list of the top 10 worst extensions of all time. But I'm not ready for that. Well, I'll write it down, but I'll write that down. But yeah. Bazootin Hoot is on the course. Go. I have him in one lineup. Jake Arrieta makes my Phillies that infuriated me list. Yeah. Dude, I got so many creative lists to put together. I'm going to be busy this weekend, though, so I'm not going to have time to put it all out there and make them all up. So, and I won't have any time today to make a list for tomorrow. But yeah, anyway, we're in the final 15. Let's take a look at the leaderboard of the Open Championship here. Let's see where we stand with some key names. I just saw Keegan Bradley get him birdie. Scottie Scheffler's back to 1 under. Shane Lowry's at 1 under. Phil Mickelson is at 1 under. Sergio Garcia made another birdie. He's up to 2 under. Back-to-back birdies. Love it. Love how everybody on the show blasted me for Sergio Garcia on Tuesday night. Love it. Let's go down to the bottom of the board here. KJ Choi, 10 over. Byron Newman, 10 over. Mackenzie Hughes, 8 over. Tom Ogie, 7 over. Gracerman, 7 over. I'm looking for somebody. Ryan Fox, 4 over. That's going to hurt me. I need Ryan Fox to make a little bit of a run. Darren Clark, former Open champion. I think he was 2011, Darren Clark? 4 over. Yeah, you didn't think I knew who Darren Clark was. Patrick Reed, 3 over. Oh, that's Patrick Reed and Ryan Fox combined 7 over. That's going to hurt. That is going to hurt me. We spent literally 55 minutes of today's show, Marshawn, talking about it. But if you have thoughts, you can put them out there. It's basically me and Nooms against the rest of the world on this Joel Embiid article. A top 10 list of your favorite top 10 list. I would say top 10 list of the top 10, the most overdone top 10 things. Mount Rushmores, things like that. Yeah, exactly. We have learned that K1's AI generated, though. Exactly. 17 likes. We're getting there. We're climbing the ranks today. It's an article I saw on Twitter being talked about. Friend of the Scottie. There's a lot of people that shared it out. They're joking with you. We literally spent 50 minutes talking about it, and several people said, "Could we please stop talking about it?" I think it's a very interesting article. I've read it twice already, Marshawn. Absolutely love it. Also, who snitched? Somebody said Art Gordon in the show earlier. So it could be Art Gordon. I'm shocked that he's still on the team, if that's the case. But I'm not shocked because obviously the organization does the opposite of what's best for Joel Embiid all the time. So if Joel Embiid wanted him gone, that's why they kept Art Gordon around. Got to do it for 72 holes, though. Yeah, exactly. I know. Top 10, saw it coming from a mile away moments. There's a lot of those. There's an article where Gordon snitched on his teammates in college. Really? I did not see that. That's an interesting one. Top 10 list of worst ESPN reporters. Oh, I have to keep it to 10. Can I do the top 100 articles? Or top 100 of the worst reporters? Marshawn, we spent a lot of time. I would love your thoughts and opinions because me and Nooms see it one side. Everybody else is not buying into the Joel Embiid thing. Not buying into it and feel it's just, an excuse for Joel Embiid. I don't feel that way. Live and Let Die, Diamonds Are Forever, Skyfall are elite double. Yeah, songs are different. Yeah, Live and Let Die is probably the best. Diamonds Are Forever. It's actually a pretty fun James Bond movie. And Skyfall is, I would say Live and Let Die and Skyfall are the top two James Bond songs for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, Vaughn signed with Josh Harris. Yes, he did, Marshawn. The retirement home has another resident down in D.C. But as someone said earlier in the show, if he's allowed to stick to a Chris Long type role like from the Eagles in 2017, he can provide some form of help to that team. If they're going to rely on him to be an important factor, then maybe not. Mitch Williams pitch, Michael Layton saw it coming from a mile away, unfortunately. They're good ones. Because people want me to start doing more top 10 lists, and it was asked yesterday on the show for me to do a top 10 Bond movie list. I'm working on literally now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other top 10 lists for the next couple of weeks, some sports related, some entertainment related. What's the link? Did you send it to me? See, I think you send me messages all the time. You're one of those people that send me messages. I don't have a link, but anyway, I'll find it. James Bond is just whatever. Christopher Waltz was such a wasted villain. So was Rami Malek in the last one, No Time to Die. But because it was Christopher, I would say Christopher Waltz, Rami Malek, and I would also say Christopher Walken. We're all wasted actors on Bond movie villain roles. Scaramanga was a great villain. I love Scaramanga. It didn't pop up. Maybe YouTube. Maybe it's not showing. I don't think it allowed you to share a link in the chat. I don't think you're allowed to share links in chats, at least not on this StreamYard. But don't worry about it. I'll find it. I'm right on top of the chat right now. I was behind on the chat earlier, but we've caught up here over the last 10, 15 minutes, and we're on par because people stopped wanting to talk about Joel Embiid. Although I think it's an extremely interesting topic and an extremely interesting story. I got your text message, Tim. Good one. Top 10 Philly sports brawl moments. Yeah, I'm really interested on how this list is going to come out. My top 10 what the F moments in Philadelphia sports. I've got some fun ones, some good ones. I've got one person. I'm not sure if you guys can guess it. I got one person on my what the F moment twice. And I don't know if you guys will be able to guess who it is. I may or may not answer who it is. He might not make the list twice, but this is my potential list. I got 1, 2. I got only eight WTF moments written down so far. One person's written down twice. Matthew, don't call me Michael Jordan for par. Saves par to stay at 3 under. Not a bad round of golf, 3 under. First round of the Open Championship here. What if moment? See, the thing is, that was brought up a lot yesterday. See, the thing is, I'm trying to do lists that don't get done. And everybody does what if moments. And what ifs are just too frequently done. Ben Simmons on the what for what? What's he on the pass? The pass to when he passed off the layup. I'm gonna write that down as a maybe. Ben Simmons pass versus Hawks. That's gonna go on that list for sure. That's definitely gonna make the top 10 for sure. What about Mitch Williams? We could go the Mitch Williams hit at 4 a.m. to walk off a game. Top 10 uniforms in sports. We all know Kelly Green ain't making it, right? Top 10 unsung heroes. Okay. I mean, I've got too many lists here. But I like that one, actually. Top 10 unsung heroes. Half of Brett Favre's career is what... Yeah, absolutely. I already know what the number one on the list is going to be. But the rest of us, some of them are good. Some of them are individual plays. Some of them are events. Some of them are situations. Matt Stairs would definitely be on that list. I'm definitely going to put that list together too. Absolutely. 1,000% accurate on that. No doubt about that. Chris Webber moments, but it was with Michigan. Chris Webber's making the we got him too late. So the next list, Marshawn, that I'm putting together for sure is going to be the got them too late in Philly list. I've got about 20 names already written down here to pick from. So why is Bruce Springsteen overrated? Because he's so politically generated now. If you would just stick to music, that's all that would matter. Where to begin? Yeah, exactly. Trade Embiid. Yeah, you're jumping in late here in the show for the Joel Embiid talk, Pump Man. But I'm guessing you're not showing support for Joel Embiid like 95% of the crowd here is today in this article. Top 10 got him too late. Chris Webber might be top 3, might be number 1 on my list when I do it all. Top 10 one-hit wonders. I love one-hit wonders. I love one-hit wonders. I'll blame the entire state of New Jersey. Yeah, pretty much. Top 10 number 5 starters. Joe Blanton, for example. I like that one. Dude, guys, I got enough top 10 lists to start a new podcast. I wish I had a better understanding of editing pre-recorded videos because, man, could I put together recordings and blow up these top. I literally got weeks worth of top 10 lists to do here. With the F moments, 97 fireworks shot off at Eagles game. I don't even remember that one. It's where I got to hire somebody to be a producer for me and an editor. Interesting. I wish I could just record it and have someone edit in graphics and stuff like that for me. Anyway, there's my Bond movie list. Don McNabb on the sidelines phone. Yeah, which Don McNabb moment would be the what the F moment? Thrown up in the Super Bowl? Indirectly, Don McNabb will make that list twice. Then if I put that on there. Randall Cunningham turning his jacket inside out and pouting despite being loved. Top 10 greatest pieces. Yeah, I know. I am feeling Joel Embiid's pain. I am changing my tune, and I am putting a bigger onus on the fact that Josh Harris needs to go and sell this team, and that Daryl Morey needs to be fired, and this team needs to strip it down and start all over again. I feel bad for Joel after reading that article twice. Now, 95% of this chat has been anti-Joel Embiid still. But for me, I feel bad for him. And I think it just brings up even more about how bad this organization is run. I rank my Bond films off of Bond Girls. Die Another Day in the World Is Not Enough. Die Another Day, sure. World Is Not Enough. I found that Bond chick so overrated looking. I can't remember her name, the actress there. But Found her so overrated. I should do a top 10 sports list in shorts. That should get some traction. I don't know how do you do that? Like I know there's a way to do it on TikTok where I just start talking and I could keep dropping things. How do I do that? I got to figure that one out. Roman Czechmonic would have 10 with the Roman Czechmonic. There's another overrated goalie we brought in. Still didn't take accountability. It wasn't about him taking accountability. It was for him to put in the team on notice that he's tired of the way he's treated. 97 Eagles season, someone shot a flare gun in the stands. Hysterical, great memory. I don't remember that one at all. I just realized I was 5 minutes behind on the pod. Oh, sorry. Gotcha. Top 10 Philly sports press conference rants. That would be a top 100 list, probably, right? Can I put Lee Eli in that, even though he's not what? Which one? There was 2. Come on, Phil. Denise. Oh, well, Sophie. Everyone thinks Sophie is a smoke show in that movie, and I maybe I just didn't like the character, and that's why. And Denise Richards, I mean, she's Denise Richards, right? See, I disagreed. I did not. Maybe it was also because the part was written so well that you had to hate her. No. Didn't say she was overrated. I'm talking about Sophie. Okay. Maybe my opinion on the Sophie chick was because I hated the character so much. I despised the character so much that it made me to dislike her. If that makes sense. That means it was a well-written part and it was a well-written movie. But yeah, no, I didn't get that there. No. I'm smart. Vespa Lynn is still the best Bond girl of all time. Plain and simple. What was her name? Dr. Christmas Jones? Oh, Christmas Jones or something like that? Oh, don't make any jokes. I've heard them all. It was so bad. Well, I love it. Doc, you're spot on. Pump thoughts on Jalen ranked as 9th best quarterback. I don't think we have enough. We're down to the final 2 minutes of the show. Top 10 movies set in Philly. Invincible. Right off the bat, right? Top 10 sports movies. I could do that. That would be easy. I have 10. Number 1. Stop. I love, in the last Bond flick, she was a Bond girl without being a Bond girl. Was that the chick that he did that one fight scene with earlier in the movie? Number 1 Silver Linings Playbook? Yeah. I'm joking about Invincible. I mean, it's a great movie, and it would make the top 10 list of Philly, but yeah. Dude, we got so many top 10 lists here to work on, man. And I really got to figure out how to do top 10 lists on TikTok, because then I could use that on shorts. I love that, Duck. Trading Places, great movie. Maybe that would make an underrated movie list right there. But here it is. You wanted it, I gave it to you. Final look in here. Jana is 3 under, second shot on hole 9 here at the Open Championship. Looks like the rain has stopped. Comes up a little short. That ball, will that stay on the green? Is it going to roll off? Hold. It held. Harden not talking to Joel. I mean, James Harden might have been right about a lot of things going on in Philly. Just think about it this way. We got rid of James Harden just for Paul George. Any movies from 60s or 70s that are still good? All James Bond ones. Spectre Bond girl was fired. She got smoked, though. Yeah. Top 10 pieces of memorabilia in Phil's office. I mean, it's right there. My Harry Callis, it's number 1. There ain't no doubt that. And my A.J. Brown sign print and my Eagles football, but we're raffling them off in a month, so they're not going to be here. And this is not my office, just so you know. This is my basement. It's my sanctuary, as my wife calls. It's the no dogs allowed sanctuary right here in my basement right now, guys. Scheffler on the tee at number 14. 1 under for the tournament so far. Matthew Fitzpatrick made another birdie. He's up to 4 under, tied for the lead. How about that? Top 10 ingredients. You got to have a good salami. All right, guys. It's time to wrap it up. We'll be back tomorrow with another episode. More Open Championship talk. We'll probably talk a little bit more about this Joel Embiid situation. I know some of you don't want to, but we're going to probably. And tomorrow we're going to kick off the second half of the Phillies Maybe we'll do the top. We're not going to do a top 10 list, but we're going to tell you the top 10 things that Phillies need to accomplish to have a chance to win the World Series or get to the World Series. Oh, my God. That would take too long. Top 10 worst Philly sports press members. Marcus Hayes, numero uno. Thank you very much, Adam, and thank you very much for your generosity, as always. You could just capture a minute like you do on the show, start with an intro, pop up the list, and narrate it. Well, there's a way on TikTok that you can actually, like, have 10 show up, then 9 show up, then 8. Like, have it come in one at a time. Then go put your thoughts in the comments. Gotcha. I got to figure it out. I love the idea of doing the top 10 list as shorts because that would potentially blow up really well, especially the Philadelphia sports ones. But again, making graphics does take time, for sure. Anyway, guys, we're going to wrap this up. We're into overtime here. Thank you all for tuning in. If you're watching on replay, make sure you hit that like button, that share button. I'm going to remove that so I can go like, share, subscribe. The poll question ended. 60% of you say yes. A World Series appearance is a must for Rob Thomson and Dave Dombrowski to keep their jobs. But anyway, with that, we'll be back tomorrow with more great content, more great chatter, more great banter. Maybe some of you will ease your feelings on Joel Embiid and take my side. Probably not, but anyway, everybody have a good day. Go Birds! Bubbles up.